Hm. Dobre na to páni, ideme to prebudiť. Ideme to roztačať, dostali sme 30 nových bán v Lige retardov za to, že koľko ti feedujú. A keď to chodí na svete retardov. Ak retard ti feedujú, ty si to vylížeš. Skladové zvukové stopu či ide? Ukáž to. Dobre na to páni, ideme to prebudiť. Ideme to roztačať, dostali sme 3. A môžeme to oficiálne spustiť. Takže začíname 785. relaxačný tréningový deň. Je pondelok 12.1.2026. Sú klikožruty 100, 90, 80, 70 až 60 kliksterov. Začíname 17.29, piče som o 16.29, každého podľa gusta, podľa svastiky. Púštime tohto piče Saragona ako podmaz, ideme dať prvú várku 100 klikožrutov, 100 kliksterov. Začíname 17.30, piče som o 16.30, to je 17.30, ideme. Piču sa 100 klikožrutov, 100 kliksterov, prvá séria.
So, the first big update of Throne and Liberty for 2026. We have the update notes for the Korean server. Keep in mind that they are automatically translated. We no longer have whelps to completely confirm translations. So I'll do my best here. But it does indeed come with the rework of the bonus damage and damage reduction system. The way it works with additional hits, so you're not going to end up with situations where you deal obscene amounts of burst damage or all zeros. They've finally added some significant battlegrounds improvements and a new Tevent Archboss furniture. There will be a new battle pass for the Korean server. Maybe we get the same thing, but they've finally added a new skin to the game. That's the outfit and the weapons. So let's go through everything we know so far. This update again is what Tico promised on his Tico Talks of December 2025, the mid-January update, with that combat balancing to multi-hits and damage reduction. So what we see here at the beginning of the patch notes, again roughly translated from Korean, their dev comment is that some weapons and skills were overperforming their design intent with the additional hits and damage reduction. So they reorganized the structure, focusing on basic hits to improve the flow and feel of combat. And they hope it will alleviate the stress caused by excessive burst damage and damage nullification, basically where you were dealing zeros. However, they understand that this can be some significant changes, so they will continue to monitor actual gameplay results. So the first thing we see here is that they're changing up a bunch of skills here that will no longer be affected by additional damage and damage reduction, meaning your bonus damage here and that damage reduction here. And that includes abilities like Mother Nature's Protest, which is an ability that can trigger an additional hit whenever you're shooting projectiles. So all of these effects that are just going to have a chance to trigger on the use of your regular attacks will for the most part be no longer affected by those stats. This is good if you were not stacking bonus damage, and same for damage reduction. But if you were stacking those stats, this mainly just pertains to PvP, then this would be considered a nerf. These include abilities like Spectrum of Agony, Cleaving Moonlight, Umbral Spirit, Thunder Spirit, Mortal Mark, Mother Nature's Protest, Stellar Dash, Summon Satellite, and more. Again, these are rough Google translations, so it may not be completely clear when you read these abilities exactly what is changing for you on your weapon. But we can wait till Thursday and we'll most likely get all these changes too in our official patch notes. This update should get pushed to the Korean server and hopefully with proper translations, and I can go through them more clearly then. But you can see then there's a big long list of skills where the amount of damage reduction, the amount of bonus damage has changed. What appears to be like some buffs, some nerfs, but the overall impact of this change will not be clear until we do some actual testing and can confirm the exact abilities that this is all changing on. Again, the idea behind this is that anything that is just going to proc off your usual abilities, like will no longer be affected by bonus damage. Therefore, you will find it to be significantly less impactful. and therefore we see some cases here that the additional damage values are getting actually buffed. And on the flip side, with damage reduction, since there will now be a lot of abilities, again like Mother Nature's Protest, which will ignore damage reduction, meaning that this damage will go through regardless, and so you'll never deal 0 hits with it. And so you find in some cases that the damage reduction is actually getting increased. But ultimately this change mainly pertains to the tank's damage reduction no longer being able to reduce all the hits to 0, and then any build that relies on multi-hits with bonus damage will find that no longer all those extra hits will trigger the bonus damage. And for the average user who didn't rely on bonus damage but does have some multi-hit abilities, they'll find that those multi-hit abilities will no longer hit for 000 when attacking a target that has a lot of damage reduction. But moving on from that, we can see there is a bunch of skill fixes here, some pretty good ones too, like the lightning effect from Mother Nature's Protest will now properly transfer if the target's under the frost effect.
Na to štvrtá séria.
And the freezing world.
70 klikov do 70 kliksterov.
Fixing the tooltip of devotion, where it showed 40% regardless of your specializations, making vampiric contract apply to staff, and also the mana ball attacks. That should give Invocator a little bit of a damage boost when using that damage vampiric contract, along with fixing the Apostle's Wrath, the Clay Salvation damage skill. Its duration instead of 3 seconds now stays 5. For the orb, your summon satellite, they removed the effect where the shield health will be increased by 50% when used on a party member with the satellite effect. This is just a straight up shield now. But they have added a new effect when using Distortion Curtain. The Distortion Curtain's vitality is increased by 20% for each sphere within the range. I assume you can get it down to 60% with 3 orbs, but it requires you to actually place down those orbs before giving the big shield. And then yeah, like more damage reduction effects. It's now 40 instead of 20. And they're balancing the amount you get through wounds and artifacts too, along with the gear sets. Like Demon Hunter is now 14 per step instead of 7, that being your Brute Slayer set. And you can see a lot of other balancing here, and in most cases it's gone up. And again, the reason being is additional hits can no longer trigger this damage. They also say here they increase the skill cooldown effect of Tevin's Rage and Enraged Tevin's Rage by 10 seconds. Tevin's Madness and Tevin's Massacre. That wouldn't be Greatsword, it doesn't have a cooldown. Wouldn't be the Daggers, that also doesn't have a cooldown. Shouldn't be the Bow. The Wand doesn't have a cooldown either. So it is most likely the Orb. But still, that doesn't make sense, because it doesn't directly have a cooldown. It just
ideme na to. Posledná 5. séria, 60 klikov do 60
sure
kliksterov.
what this means. Again, we'll be able to confirm later when the update's out on the Korean server. Your Cornelius sword, that extra damage reduction goes to 250 now. Same for the Azrael sword, from 250 to 280. And you can see these other minor changes here, including Della's Noah, Queen Belandir, all rebalancing that bonus damage and damage reduction. Again, that was a big pain point in PvP. Oh, it looks like that they'll be adding the 100% monster damage bonus to the tier 1 version now of the wand like it was initially, at least if I understand that correctly. And them using the word phrase.
Dobre, je to za nami? Je to za nami? Dobre, no tak naspäť sa vracame k topu. Uvidíme, ako to pôjde. No, takže je to za nami. Zrekapitulujeme to. $700, no. 785. relaxačný tréningový deň za nami, bol 12.1.2026 pondelok. Skončíme 17.39, píš som už 16.39. Skončíme 17.39, segment trval 10 minút a 15 sekúnd, dlhší čas.